Since I'm a big fan of both visual novels and horror, I was interested in checking out the new Raging Loop since it made it over to North America. But is this a game that you should be in the loop about? Or will you end up raging at the thought of paying for this one? Raging Loop is a visual novel game that's one part psychological thriller and the other part straight up horror. The game takes place in a small village that gets surrounded by mist, stopping those that visit from leaving. Slowly but surely, the villagers and people there get picked off one by some evil, monstrous force. The game is steeped in Japanese folklore, so if you're a fan of that mythology, you'll enjoy that aspect of the game, along with the aspects of horror which are plentiful throughout. There's a lot of gory imagery as well as adult language all throughout the course of the game, as well as lots of different choices that you'll get to make, a lot of which will result in either your or other people's deaths. Now, I'll do my best not to spoil too much about the core plot, and all the footage I'm showing is from Chapter 3 and earlier. The developers and publisher do not want any of the story really spoiled online. They're doing their best by even including in-game notifications to tell streamers and YouTubers alike not to show footage past a certain point, and I will respect their wishes and do just that. In Raging Loop, you're playing as a young man named Haruki Fusashi, who is visiting a mountainous region of Japan and a small remote settlement known as Yashimizu. There's a werewolf that is on the loose and has sworn revenge on the village and ends up seeking them out one by one in a tradition known as the Feast. The game has a fair amount of choices that you'll have to make all throughout. A lot of these choices end up being locked by information that you don't know the first time playing through the game. As you go through and go down different branching paths, reach game overs, and the like, you'll get that information. In fact, you even get it in the form of unlockable keys that you can then use in order to make those certain choices and thus see the other paths and potential endings. After completing the game, you unlock the Revelation mode, which allows you to replay it, and you get more information inside the minds of the characters as you progress to get even more out of the story, and also there's other endings. Unlike some visual novel games where you get to replay large chunks of it in order to get back to certain decisions, this game includes multiple ways to fast forward, not only skipping through dialogue quickly, but also being able to just fast forward straight to the next choice, as well as at any point you can bring up the chart that shows you exactly where all the branching paths are and which ones you have currently, so you know where you're going on that certain path, and you can go back to a point if you think you've made a mistake or you want to see something else. And since the story here in Raging Loop is interesting enough and one of my favorite horror visual novels I played in recent years, it's well worth going back, seeing all the different branching pathways, and unlock everything the game has to offer. I really enjoyed going through the various trials as each person tries to get various information out of others without revealing too much about themselves so that they don't end up being the target of the next person's accusations. The whole ideology of going back and forth with who exactly is the werewolf and killer here was an enjoyable one to see through to the end. From the technical side of things, I ran into no problems as far as glitching or crashing of any sort. Raging Loop is available now on the PlayStation 4 for $29.99, and it does feature a Platinum Trophy. The game is also available on Nintendo Switch. Overall, while Raging Loop may not have as much as some bigger visual novels like a Danganronpa, for example, it still provides enough gameplay and a decent enough psychological horror story that I can recommend it to fans of the genre. With that said, for a visual novel, I'm giving Raging Loop an 8 out of 10. That's going to wrap up this review though. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.